my name is Lori Lepatka, and I am a teacher at Rudolph Mattis Elementary School in Metairie, Louisiana, where I teach special education autistic children from 1st through 8th grade. And I created this professional development session because I know that I am not the only one who struggles with integrating technology into the classroom. And I know I'm also not the only one who struggles with parental involvement. And I think that this is a great option that schools can use in order to, expand beyond those four walls of the classroom and really engage in the broader community. And by community, I'm talking about teachers, administrators, parents, students, and even beyond. So I hope that this is very beneficial and that you think about creating an account. So the program that I'm talking about is actually a website, but it also converts to a phone app or a tablet application for both Mac and PC. But it is called Edmodo, edmodo.com. And it's a way to stay connected through education. And this professional development introduction is going to introduce you to educational social networking and get you set up with a teacher account so that you can start to build your classroom beyond those four walls that I was talking about. Now, the rationale behind this is that a lot of schools struggle with the same things that I was struggling with, which is empowering our leaders. A lot of us want to be more confident as educators and feel like we're technologically savvy, but that we really struggle with that. And we're not very knowledgeable on how to do that. So hopefully after today, using this will help you feel better about that. Hopefully you'll feel better about your community engagement, where parents and students become accountable and connected and have a hands-on approach to their education through this social networking site. It creates a safe communal space. I also think that the goal of this is going to be to create a shared vision. Everyone has a say. Social networking is great because it's kind of like a living document. It's constantly changing, and everyone's input really impacts how successful it is. So the more parents are involved, the more students are involved, and the more teachers that are involved in the school, the better that it becomes. And again, that this is just going to be one more way to stay connected in a safe, secure, educational way that provides instant feedback and connection between students, between the teacher-parent relationship, between the teacher-student relationship, as well as the larger educational community, which is around the world, especially thanks to the internet. So Edmodo provides solutions to help expand the digital classroom, to increase involvement, to help with teacher empowerment, to prepare students, and to enhance learning. Sometimes before Edmodo, I wasn't quite sure how to create a digital classroom environment, but this makes it super simple. I think we're all familiar with Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and the feed on this, the news feed, looks a lot like Facebook, which makes it really easy to use. So it also increases involvement, where you find a solution to maintain and encourage meaningful, regular communication with parents and guardians, and increase their involvement in creating and maintaining the overall vision of their child's education. And I think that this alone helps empower not only the parent, but it also helps empower the teacher, because teachers now feel empowered to explore resources related to their own personal development beyond what is offered by the school district. But then they're also empowered to change their classroom to fit the class that they have in front of them right now. A teacher that's been teaching 20 years might kind of get into the same old routine and not change it based on the class that they have this year or this semester. And Edmodo makes this a lot easier and a lot more possible. By preparing students, I feel like it provides a solution to improve the digital footprint that students have, but in a positive educational way, there's a lot of noise out there for kids these days, especially when it comes to the internet and social networking. So to be able to show them how it can be used as a tool for appropriate behavior on this type of platform is really crucial for the world that we live in today. I also feel like it enhances learning by allowing everyone to stay organized and be more involved and technologically savvy. So the great thing about Edmodo is that it really can come in handy for following a lot of the student standards that we might overlook. Like through it, you can build a network, customize learning environments, and support the learning process. It also allows students to seek feedback that informs and improves student practice, so that students can demonstrate learning in a variety of ways. Another standard that it does is that it helps with student engagement in a safe, legal, and ethical way, and it really helps with them learning how to maintain their behavior in that way. So it's social interactions facilitated with an educational purpose. It encourages creative communication. It uses digital tools like YouTube can be linked in there, games, a variety of digital media, and the world is your oyster pretty much. And students can, in a safe way, publish customized content, create complex ideas, focus on an intended audience, and make things that are goal appropriate. So I really love this quote, and it came from a journal by Gonzalez de Haas in 2005. And it said that parental involvement has the strongest positive relationship with students because it offers a sense of security and comfort in a rather unpredictable society to an adolescent. And that there's a direct correlation between parental involvement and student success, which I think we all know is true. It's just nice to hear that that's backed up by science. And Edmodo is a great way to increase parental involvement and therefore hopefully increase what your students are capable of. So the first thing that we're going to do today is create an account. It's not too tricky. I just wanted to walk us through the steps so that you could see the interface itself and get a little bit more comfortable with what we are going to try and create. So the first thing that I want you to do is go to edmodo.com and get started as a teacher. There's going to be options for teacher, student, and parent, which is great. But obviously for our purposes, we want to get started as a teacher. Now, I want you to sign up with your school email address. This is an easy, quick way to keep everyone connected. If everyone has the same email address, it's going to be way easier to connect with other students in the school. Plus, I feel like it keeps it a little more professional when you're communicating with parents and students. You may not want them to have your personal account information. The next step is that it's going to ask you to select some topics and interests, and these are going to be in the form of a hashtag. Hashtags are a great way to stay organized and instantly see topics that interest you. So a lot of times we use hashtags, just putting the little, the hashtag or the pound sign, as it used to be called, and putting that in front of a keyword. So you could put hashtag professional development, all one word, and then everything is going to pop up that has to do with professional development. Or, for instance, with my students, if I'm interested in finding things that will help them, I would put hashtag autistic or hashtag special education. And every article or every post that other people put up that has to do with that is going to pop up. So make sure that you're selecting things that really are beneficial to you in a professional setting. And then update your profile information. You want to make sure that you're personable, but remember that this is a professional account and something that parents and students are going to see. Add a profile picture so that people can see you. I think this is really important, and a little bit about yourself. It's going to ask you to put in some of your educational background and maybe some old work history if you feel comfortable doing that. You can provide as much or as little information as possible. It's just nice that when someone goes to click on your profile and someone being a parent or a student, that they can get an idea of who you are and feel more welcome on the platform. And then from there, you're going to start building your classes. It's really easy. You just create the class foundations and then start adding assignments and resources that have to do with that specific topic so that when students sign on and get their accounts later on, they'll instantly be engaged with information. So now let's try it. We're going to log on, create, and hopefully inspire. So this is the screen that you get when you go to edmodo.com. It instantly reroutes you to new.edmodo.com if you haven't signed in before. And what it does is it's first going to tell you to get started as either a teacher, student, or parent, which is cool because everyone's going to see something a little bit different and get a little bit of a different interface with information. As a teacher, you'll probably see a lot more professional development. A parent might get some information about schooling if they want to. Otherwise, it's just going to be basic class information for them. So then you want to sign up with your email once you select teacher for yourself. And as I said before, you want to use your professional email, your work email. I think that this keeps a good separation between and professionality when using a social networking site so that there's no confusion and it really protects your personal space and your personal life. So for the purposes of this, I'm going to just sign in with my Google account, but again, make sure you use your professional email address that you don't mind everyone having. So as soon as you log in, you're going to realize that the screen looks very familiar. So the cool thing about this site is that everything is set up kind of like Facebook, where on the left-hand side, you can select your profile, but also it has everything pertaining to you. It is like your table of contents. Then in the middle, where you would put a status update on Facebook, this is where you can share a thought with teachers or with parents or whomever, and you can really select who you're talking to. Am I talking to just the school that I teach at? Just people directly connected to me, which would be parents and students that I teach, or all teachers all around the world. But anyway, so you can do that. Your feed can be everything from everyone that is related to you. So right now you can see that I'm seeing other teachers' posts from all over. This person is from Edmodo High, or this Next Gen News professional development information. Here's a teacher with an article that they found interesting. And, or I can click here and switch it over so I only see class activity, things that are directly related to the classes that I am teaching. And as you can see, a few hours ago, I've posted things so it wouldn't be too empty, and so you could kind of see what it would look like to scroll through. Alrighty. So the first thing that I want to show you is the profile. So on the left-hand side, select View Profile. This is what we were going over earlier, which was updating your profile information. This is kind of what it's going to look like. You can see my picture, information about me. Right now, I don't have any students because obviously this is just for showing you for the purposes of this screencast. The About Me section, which I created to be professional but kind of nice. And I could add experience if I wanted to, add to my schedule. You can see my prior education, and I could add links that I'm super interested in that I want others to see. And as a reminder, this is something parents, students, and other educators would be able to see. Over here on the right hand side, you can see that I'm already connected. I barely made something and I'm already connected to other teachers at my school. I can invite teachers, I could invite parents, but I think that shows how well that this is working, that I'm already connected to people. So at the top here, just real quick, I want to show you how you can manage classes. Under classes, a drop down happens, class management, what's due, and progress. So this is a great way, easy way to stay super organized. And a parent would be able to, their drop down might include their student's name. If they had multiple students at the school, they could see that. And then the classes that their students involved in, and they could see their students' progress, grades, all that kind of good stuff. So here you could create a class. I've already done it for education technology and professional development, but you could create as many or as little as you needed. And when I select the class that I created, you can kind of see how the basic screen is going to be. So I could type a note here, and you can see that it's related to education technology. If I had another class I wanted it to relate to, I could add that. I could add an assignment, a quiz, a poll, anything that's relevant to this class. And I'm not the only one who could do that. A student could provide something onto the news feed. A student could comment on something that I'm already working on. A parent could observe on these pages, but not comment because obviously they're not in the class, which I think is a good divide too, that students aren't as aware of how involved their parents are getting, and a parent can't just step in and submit things for their child. So here's something cool, a cool way to use the poll, I thought, in a way that really broadens your classroom beyond the hours of the classroom day. I know that I was a shy kid and I didn't want to ask questions in class, especially if I didn't understand something. So by providing a poll like this, how confident did you feel about today's lesson? A student can vote wherever they want, but you as a teacher can kind of gauge how successful your lesson was. Do you have to go over something again or not? And then a student can like it or comment. You know, if they had a question about one part and they want to mention it, they can write it here. Another student could respond. In this way, it's really cool to have a living document. You can see under assignments that I've already created assignments right here. Here is my first lesson, which I just put together from our previous screencast. So it has my PowerPoint presentation that they can look at. It has the YouTube of my screencast, and you can see someone already liked it. And on the left-hand side here, you can see that you can create smaller groups, and those, when you click on those, will have assignments, quizzes, and polls that relate just to them. So you could really segment the class and work with groups individually. Now, the main thing that I want to mention here is messages. This is direct messages. And if I had any on the left-hand side, you'd be able to see it. It would be students that have contacted me directly, parents that have contacted me directly, and the dialogue would be forever ingrained here on the right-hand side, which I think is important for accountability purposes. I also wanted to mention that you could put permission slips up here. If a parent had a question about a field trip coming up, or had a question about how involved they should be in an assignment, or about anything, they could contact you here. I have the app on my phone. It'll instantly ding, and I can give them instant feedback, and vice versa. A parent is going to have the Edmodo parent app on their phone and be able to instantly send and receive messages. So again, Edmodo, the biggest positive is how it keeps parents involved, which allows parents to hold kids more accountable. You can have instant teacher to parent conversations. Everyone's involved and connected, and this ultimately empowers teachers through engagement and accountability. All your classes are managed in one place, and all of their kids' classes are managed in one place. For the parents, that makes it really easy for them to use. For students, this allows 24/7 access. If they have questions or they have a sport after school and need to access something late, they can do that. If they need more help on an assignment, they can click on videos that you maybe showed in class. They can play an online game that you've linked to the page to really enhance their understanding about a subject matter. And again, they're going to have instant responses. They don't have to wait till the next day to remember the question they were going to ask you. They can ask you right then and there. Right before closing, I also just want to mention how some of the safeguards and guidelines that Edmodo really recommends. The website is safe in itself, but I want to reiterate that we really have to be proactive and set expectations for what's happening ourselves as educators. So don't post group codes publicly. You only want students who are supposed to be in certain classes in those classes. We don't need any random people. But let's say that were to happen. When you're registering for a class, you can remove whoever you want. Teachers have full discretion under Edmodo, and that's something that's really, really nice. You can lock group codes once all students have joined so that the group is private and no one can access or see information on various students, which is super important. And like I said, we're able to monitor student posts, delete, modify, and create read-only sections whenever it's needed. As with anything, you can select unique passwords, which make it safer. And ultimately, I think it's important that before using, that you set expectations with the students. Tell them what behavior is expected, what they're allowed to do and what not to do. Talk to them about communicating online and the etiquette necessary. And these ways that follows the standards that we need to instill and promote as well. But really, I appreciate you listening to this professional development session, and I hope that this empowers you as a teacher and that it gets you excited as to how you can involve the parents of your students and the students themselves and really engage in the broader community.